Hello friends, and as you know, earlier this week, the Auditor General, Michael Ferguson, he and his colleagues in the Office of the Auditor General came out with their fall 2018 report. And in report number 3, he takes a visceral look at the Liberals' plan to buy an interim fighter fleet to augment our current CF-18 force. Now, the AG trashes the government's plan. Justin Trudeau has been misleading Canadians from the get-go. One thing we learned on Monday of this week was that through an access to information request, there is not a single document, not one, before the Liberals came to power that ever talks about a capability gap. It never existed. The AG in his own report says that it was the new operational requirements that were introduced in 2016 that created the so-called capability gap, which really is operational availability of fighter jets. The Liberals are saying we need more than we actually do. And you got to remember, Justin Trudeau is the guy who, as his first promise that he carried out as Prime Minister, was took our CF-18s out of the fight against ISIS. So he is, again, just lying through his teeth that we need to have more fighter jets. It's not like we're going to war right now. And he invented the capability gap. Now, first, of course, the Liberals said they're going to buy a bunch of new Super Hornets, 18 new Super Hornets. Auditor General said that would make the personnel shortage even worse than what we have in the Royal Canadian Air Force. The Auditor General rightly pointed out that over 40 pilots have left in the last 2 years because of the mismanagement by the Liberals. And without fighter pilots, of course, you can't fly planes. And without fighter pilots, you don't have technicians on the ground to maintain that fighter fleet. So buying fighter jets from Australia, which are even older than ours, is not the right decision. And again, the Auditor General says in paragraph 32, he says, in our opinion, purchasing interim aircraft does not bring national defense closer to consistently meeting the new operational requirement introduced in 2016. Without more technicians and pilots, the effect on fighter force operations will be small. So, ladies and gentlemen, what this comes down to is Justin Trudeau and Minister Harjit Sajjan owe an apology to the brave men and women who service in the Canadian Armed Forces. They owe an apology to Canadian taxpayers for wasting that going to be $3 billion in buying these rusted out old Australian fighter jets and having to bring them up to standards along with our CF-18s. And then the Auditor General saying that the entire fleet needs to be more combat ready. So again, instead of investing in old planes, like taking a Pinto, an old Ford Pinto, and trying to put a modern day GPS in it, what they need to do is go out there and buy the best fighter aircraft for the Royal Canadian Air Force. We're demanding as Conservatives that Justin Trudeau cancel this asinine Australian fighter jet deal and instead take that money, invest it back into recruiting, retaining, and training more pilots, more air crew, and technicians so that we can support the aircraft that we have and immediately select a new fighter jet. They don't need to take another 3 years of ragging the puck on trying to figure out what fighter jet we actually need for Canada. The homework was done by us when we were government. They've already done all the homework and talked to all the manufacturers of fighter aircraft in the world. They know what's out there. It's just a matter of going ahead and running the competition and doing it in short order so that we can get a new fighter jet quickly so that we can actually have an opportunity to keep our pilots that we have, being able to attract more pilots into the Air Force, and ultimately, this is about our own national security, making sure that we have the right plane for the right mission, that we are dealing with an enhanced and escalating threat environment, and we need to be a trusted partner with our allies, the United States, NORAD, and our NATO partners in the alliance. There's so much to do, and yet all we get is doublespeak, rhetoric, and spin from the Liberals.